Would you forgo true love to be the keeper of your family? This is the question that I'm asking myself after watching 1994's Jason's Lyric. It is directed by Doug McHenry and it was written by Bobby Smith Jr. I'm Fox Indigo. You're listening to Fox on Flix with Friends. And I guess I would call myself a television movie critic, and I just watch different television shows and movies from the Black diaspora across the world, and I love sharing them with you, the audience, my friends. Before we get into today's episode, of course, we have our friend Tamarsha with us. Yay! Hi, Tamarsha! So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to thank Spellbound for sponsoring this podcast. But while we do that, please go ahead and share this podcast and episode with a friend or two, or anybody who wants to discover a new genre or likes to watch Black excellence. We'll be right back. Have you kept up with your herbal health? Strengthen your body's immune system and natural functions with Spellbound herbals. Created in small batches, each herbal elixir is made from organic non-GMO plants and roots, organic honey harvested from New York State bees, and sealed in bamboo-covered glass to preserve freshness. Crafted to promote the specific needs of men and women, just a few drops in a glass of juice or water makes a world of difference to your natural health. For more details, visit the Spellbound Apothecary online at spellboundtoday.com and place your order. Also, for smokers searching for a natural alternative to tobacco, check out their herbal smoke blends, crafted from delicious flowers and plants that stimulate the mind, relax the body, and set the mood. Try enhancing your favorite bud strand with a few sprinkles of Third Eye Magic or Love Me Long Time. Available again at spellboundtoday.com. Greetings, friends. I'm Fox Indigo, and you're listening to Fox on Flix with Friends. Oh, thank you, everyone, for joining another episode. And today we're going to be reviewing the movie Jason's Lyric. It premiered in 1994, written by Bobby Smith Jr., and it's directed by Doug McHenry. And I hope you went and shared this episode with a friend or two. It is the month of February, the month of love, and today is February 14th. It is Valentine's Day here in the USA. I don't know about the rest of the world if you guys celebrate Valentine's Day. Maybe you have like some other holiday of love. And I'm, of course, here with my friend Tamarsha. Greetings.
Hello, everybody. Yay. Happy Valentine's Day and other /love day.
Happy Valentine's Day. So Tamarsha and I, we felt we needed to come back with another episode because we had reviewed not Jason's Lyric, Poetic Justice last week. And we were kind of disappointed by that movie. So we decided that we needed to find another 90s love movie that would hopefully answer some of our questions to what really was going on in the 90s. So I guess let's just jump into it.
I much prefer this movie. But I'm like, I've never heard of this movie. I hear about Poetic Justice all the time. I've never heard of Jason's
Nobody
Lyric.
ever talks about Jason's Lyric.
Yeah, they don't.
So for anyone who's never heard of it, like Tamarsha, or never seen it, Jason's Lyric, it stars Jada Pinkett-Smith, Alan Payne, Bokeem Woodbine, and Tretch from Naughty by Nature. And the plot basically is about a young man who, as a child, him and his brother kind of were traumatized by their father, who was, I guess, in the Vietnam War, came back.
PTSD.
Yeah, he had PSD and pretty much traumatized the children. And now we're in the future. And he's basically kind of like his brother's keeper and his mom's keeper, trying to like, keep everything together. And he's from, I guess, Texas. I'm thinking it was Texas, like Houston.
Yeah.
So he's, he's living, I don't want to say he's living the life. He is living life, and he's a good guy. I mean, they say
he's a genuinely good guy.
Yeah, he's genuinely a good guy, and he has a brother who, Joshua, who's a complete fuck up. And one day, Jason, our main character, meets this young woman who intrigues him, and her name is Lyric, hence the title, Jason's Lyric. And they fall in love. Yeah.
It feels like someone saw Poetic Justice and was like, you know what? I think I could do better than this. And I feel like that's what came about with Jason's Lyric.
Yeah. Usually, like, I wish I had, like, particular questions, kind of like I did with Poetic Justice. And I think I need to get better at that, kind of like focusing on like 3 or 4 things that I want to kind of discuss. But like you said, this feels like somebody watched Poetic Justice and was like, yeah, I can do much better. Because Poetic Justice was sold as like this love story, but we both felt like it was completely disrespectful to women.
It was. And in this story, I felt the love between Lyric and Jason. I felt the chemistry. I felt, we were on their wavelength, where they were going. We were with them.
So what are some things that stood out to you about this particular story?
I'm just wondering, since the 90s, if that was, that's probably what was going on at the time, like all the gang activity in Houston at the time. But my question is, like, why did Joshua turn out the way he did? I'm still puzzled about that.
Right.
They both grew up in the same household. They were both traumatized by their, what happened with their dad. But
why did Joshua grow up to be the fuck up?
Jason? And Jason was like, as a kid, he was always a good kid.
Right.
Like, you already knew he was going to grow up to be a good guy. But, like, Joshua, we didn't really get much. He had that, like, stubborn face on when he was a kid. But, like, you didn't really know. Right,
which transferred to his adult character. But, like you said, it doesn't really still say why he was. I took it as that he was traumatized by his dad. See, for me, I was confused by why were they calling Dad Mad Dog.
Yeah. Why not just call him Dad? And I was like, was he Mad Dog before Vietnam War or Mad Dog after Vietnam War?
Because even when they were talking about him in a loving way, they were still referring to him as Mad Dog.
Yeah.
So I was just like, wait, was that
and
mom's
even when he
boyfriend?
Came to see him, he was calling him Mad Dog to his face.
Right. Like, it wasn't until the very end he referred to him as Dad.
Yeah. Like,
and I was just like, what?
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that stood out to me. Another thing that kind of stood out to me, well, I liked kind of like what you were pointing. I liked the softness of Jason. Not to say that he was soft, because he wasn't
He
soft.
definitely wasn't, yeah.
But
he could allow himself to be vulnerable and to have tenderness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I guess I can agree when you say this has to be the answer, because in Poetic Justice, all the men were like these tough, aggressive, completely misogynistic characters. And in this one, they did show gangsters, right? You had that gang element happening, but you also, to me, I felt like you had more characters that had made sense. Even the gangsters themselves had some type of, I don't want to say honor, but some type of code.
Yeah.
It was like when Joshua pulled out the gun at the...
They were like, what you doing?
Right.
Yeah. Everyone's like, we're at a family affair. Like, you can't be doing this right now.
Yeah, like, this is not the time and the place to pull out your gun. Like you said, we're here. Little kids are here, dude. Like,
so it just felt so different. To me, it just felt more honest. I don't know.
It did. It did, because... Yeah, to me, a man, and I don't know, maybe that was the difference between California and Texas, Houston.
Maybe.
Like, harder inner city, so we don't know how to treat women. This is our language of love. Like,
everybody gotta move to Texas.
Everyone moved to Texas. Yeah, because even he wooed her.
Yeah, he did. Like, he asked his mom for advice. Like, he took this very seriously. Like, I want to get her attention. Like, with Justice and Lucky, like, he didn't care about... He didn't
getting
care
to know her.
Getting to know her or, like, you know, sharing interests or nothing. He didn't care about anything regarding her or her life personal. Or her personal life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This guy, Jason, he was really trying to get to know her.
Yeah.
And, like, romance
and
her.
Took interest.
Yeah.
And I guess a little bit of what she shared.
Mm-hmm. Even when, like, he was uncomfortable with something, he still tried.
Yeah.
Because that was something she was interested in.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking her out, you know, blindfolding her, getting the bus.
Yeah. Like, things that, you know, she's mentioned in passing that he was like, okay, she would like this because, you know, she talked about this. And, like,
right.
You know.
Right.
Trying to woo her.
Yes.
Good job, Jason.
Can we talk about the love scenes? Because I was not expecting that. So you said you never heard of Jason Lyric. So
I've never heard of Jason.
When I was a kid, that was another one of the big movies. Jason's Lyric. Oh, Jada Pinkett. Oh, she's so beautiful. Jada Pinkett. All the guys were just like Jada Pinkett. First of all, that was a weird ass fucking hairdo that she had.
Oh, it's the 90s.
It was a weird ass fucking 90s hairdo. Like, it was kind of like a mullet.
Yeah.
It was the black mullet.
Or like a female version of a rat tail?
Yeah, it was just, But when that movie premiered, I remember my older sister going to see it, and I remember them mentioning the love scene, but of course, you know, being a kid, you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, love scene. What the hell are they talking about? Whatever, love scene. And here I am watching it, and I'm like, oh
my.
Oh, they're bucka naked.
Yeah, saw ass, saw titties, we saw everything.
I was like, was he kissing her breast?
He was sure on her titties.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a soft.
Yeah, it was like a little bit like softcore porn.
Yeah, it was like, wow, we're taking it there, and this was in the movie theater. I mean, yeah, ass all out, titties out in the field. And I remember that was a big thing because they were having sex in the field.
Aesthetically, it looked beautiful, though.
It did.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this works. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Someone was like, Poetic Justice, this is love. This is
No, it's not. Get out of here with this shit.
Right. I got something better. And then, like, her character, Jada Pinkett's character, Lyric, I guess she was sold to be like this, kind of like free spirit. I want better for my life. Kind of like how Justice was.
But like, I somehow believe it more with Lyric. I don't know.
I do too.
I'm sorry, Justice. But like, one thing I always wondered, like, you know, she wanted to leave so bad. Why didn't she just one day just get the courage and get on the bus?
Just go by herself.
Just go by herself. I mean, even bring your girl Marty with you. Just like the both of you, just get on the bus and go.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
we don't need to be
you're tired of being in this environment, losing people all the time. Because she said she wasn't dating guys from their neighborhood because she was worried about seeing them in a body bag, which makes sense at the time, you know?
Yeah. I also, since we're talking about that, I want to talk about her brother, but first let's take a quick break. And let's just thank Anchor for sponsoring this podcast, and we'll be right back. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring the podcast. So before we went to break, I had mentioned that I wanted to bring up something about Lyric. Also, I mean, before we move forward, I hope you have shared this podcast with a friend or two. And again, we are reviewing Jason's Lyric from 1994, directed by Doug McHenry and written by Bobby Smith Jr. Okay, so Lyric had a brother. Can we talk about, like, the weirdness?
The very first time we saw him, he was introduced unseen. Like, he mentioned something about why she keeping her pussy so tight or something like something completely inappropriate for a brother to mention about his sister.
In public, in front of people.
In front of, like, his little friends or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I was completely confused because he threw something to get the attention. I just thought
he was like a rowdy customer saying shit to her.
Right.
And I was like, and then they made it seem like he's her brother. I'm like, that can't be her brother.
Right. Like, that's disgusting. Like,
why would her brother be talking about her vagina?
Right. But then I found out that some brothers are like that.
That's weird.
And I think that's weird too. I think that's kind of fucking strange myself, that a brother would be so involved.
Police your vagina.
Yes. Which makes me think like there's an attraction somehow.
Yeah.
Like, it would be different. It wouldn't be that different. But at least maybe if they had interjected that, like, the parents were gone. And
he, like, raised her and took care of her all her life or whatever. But,
right. So he seems like, I have some authority. I have to, make sure she's safe. But it was like nothing was happening to her. She's at work. Mm-hmm. She's a waitress. She's at work.
Dealing with customers. The only rude customer she was dealing with at the time was you and your little friends.
Right. So why... Yeah, it was very strange. And even later on in the movie, like, he was jealous of
her dating Jason. Yeah, like, what the fuck?
It was like, why? I don't know. I'm like, did she represent, like, an escape? Was that the thing? Like, oh, she can't leave. Like, I know her plan is to leave and she can't leave because I'm here. So she has to be trapped here. And then Jason was the symbol of her escaping.
I don't know. We're going to go with that one because everything else is going to be weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just going to go with that.
And can we talk about Joshua just in general?
Oh, my God. You just mentioned Joshua, and I thought of Alonzo. And when they were on the ride at the ferry, like, the fuck? I would have fucked your ass up.
Right. That didn't make sense to me either. Your brothers clearly there with his girlfriend. You know that's his girlfriend.
So, why are you touching on her like that?
Right.
And she's clearly trying to push you off of her, like, and he's trying to push you off of her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right. Yeah. Disgusting. Yeah, that I didn't get either, but I guess that's just to show how dysfunctional Joshua was.
Like, he was been drinking all night. I don't know. You can't excuse everything with his drinking, though.
Right. And that's a theme, because in Poetic Justice, Aisha was quote unquote a drunk, but I guess they did it better in Jason's lyric.
I know, right?
They constantly showed him
with
drinking,
a bottle in his hand,
right? Yeah. And they showed that he was a fuck up, a lot.
Mm-hmm. And everything that was going wrong was because he was drinking.
Exactly. Yeah. And how about Alonzo? Just in general, like the way Alonzo and Joshua, their interaction was very strange to me, because for me it was like, well, Alonzo, you can clearly see that he's a fuck up.
Yeah, right.
So, and you're supposed to be this big gangster.
And you said you didn't need him, so why is he here?
Right.
Like, you can find some other way to do your little friend a little favor. Like, you don't need to have him here.
Right.
To messing your business, messing your money.
Right. He could have just continued stealing cars for you, and you could have just continued shopping them. Like,
why would you bring him in on the big stuff?
Right. Right.
And they're like, you got to get here exactly on time, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know he was never going to get there on time. Come on, man.
And then what was also weird is like, well, if you guys are all pulling this crime, like, why are you all showing up separately anyway? Shouldn't you guys be riding in the same car? Right? Like, make sure you're there on time.
And then talking about it so openly.
Right. And and that was another thing. Like, yes, better story. It was a better story.
Yes,
it was a better love story. But there were things
that
there
were like, oh, okay, all right,
that doesn't really happen. Like, that's not a real reaction in real life. Like, to me, a brother would. I would fuck up my brother if my brother is hitting on my girlfriend, the girlfriend I'm in love with,
touching her like that, basically sexually assaulting her right next to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I'm in love with her. This is like,
and I'm not just gonna push you down. Literally, the second that ride stop, you're losing some teeth.
Right.
Like, that's it.
Yeah. And she was kind of calm about it.
I know, right?
And also, and even after, I don't know. For me, Jada Pinkett-Smith.
Maybe because I would think, like, as a waitress, waitresses get, like, forcibly touched all the time.
All the time.
And stuff. So I went with she's probably used to people acting that way. Even if, she doesn't like it, but she's probably used to, like, guys being like that.
Yeah.
Her job.
And and especially like who her brother is
and his friends.
Who he's with.
Yeah, so I'm like, she's probably used to, which is horrible. She's probably used to that happening to her, though.
Yeah. Can we talk about also her friend? I don't remember her friend's name.
I love Marty.
I liked her too.
I feel so sad for Marty that like Alonzo is like what she thinks is the best she can do for herself.
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, she had such a spunky.
Yeah, she was
character.
bright and bubbly, and she enjoyed her little book of quotes and stuff. So she probably like poetry and all that kind of stuff. And
right.
What she thought she could do the best for herself was Alonzo.
Right, the gangster or something.
Yeah,
you're right.
Like,
but just her outlook still was still positive, and it wasn't like Jessie from Poetic Justice who was bitter.
Oh, yeah, bitter and
Yeah, she was more like encouraging lyric.
So, to pursue this whole entire thing,
Yeah, so, I wish I had a friend like that.
Oh, like Marty?
Yeah. Oh. Like that fun, bubbly, kind of
always
sassy.
Positive. Yeah.
I
just felt so sad. I'm like, can you guys take her out of there too?
Right. Especially when she was like, he's all I have.
I'm like, no, get her out.
Like, no.
Like, she's going to end up dead. Like, please get her out of
there. Right. Yeah. I want to say I enjoyed it.
I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like, oh my God, look at me watching this movie. And
yeah. I'm like, oh, I missed out all these years. It was like 30 years have gone by.
And now I'm so mad, like, I wasted my time on Poetic Justice. I could have just watched it.
I know. Oh, that was so disappointing.
And now I'm wondering, like, is Jason Lyric good, or is because we watch Poetic Justice and comparison, it's like, oh my God, this is so much better than this. Like, this is the greatest. Like,
I think part of it,
partly,
right? Yes, is because Poetic Justice. I
enjoyed it, but I'm like, am I enjoying it more just because I saw Poetic Justice and I was like realizing that this was what Poetic Justice could have been,
right? And it's the same era, yeah. Because as we're talking about it, don't get me wrong, there are things about the film where I'm kind of like, I could have did better than that, or why did you make that choice? Okay, spoiler alert. Like when they're in the bank and he pulls off his mask. Why did you pull off your mask?
Because he's so drunk, he didn't even know what the fuck is going on.
I was like, why would you do that? He
pulled off his mask and said, Jason did this.
Right.
So the people like, the fuck?
Right. And another thing about what I thought was funny about the storyline is that they pulled off this crime, right? That they fucked up, that they completely fucked up. But there's no police. There's no investigation. The next day, they're sitting on a porch drinking 40s.
Yeah. Not a care in the world.
Is this This is always happen in Houston? Is this something? So the police are like, another attempt. They didn't get anything.
Because they didn't, right? Even that bag they were filling with money, they didn't take it.
No, they didn't. And they shot somebody. And somebody was shot.
They shot and killed the guard. And then fucking Joshua beat up the security guard.
Right.
Not a security guard. A random customer.
Right.
He beat up a random customer, stole his watch.
So, what, like, so that was like
and
a loophole.
Took off his mask and showed his whole face.
Right. So, I mean, that makes the story like, But I guess we're supposed to really just focus on the fact that it's a love story and it's really about...
Don't worry about the love details.
Right. Who cares about that? Who cares that they, like, beat up somebody, shot someone, tried to rob a bank? Oh, shot... Yeah, they shot up the bank.
They sure did. Oh, God.
So, yeah.
But one thing also, that I can say that I didn't particularly like. I know Joshua was a fuck-up, a complete and utter fuck-up, but I didn't like the way the mom used to compare the two of the brothers.
That's true.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. It could have made it seem like, why is he the black sheep?
This his whole entire life? That's
right.
also going to feed into him being like, fuck this shit. I'm just going to fuck up and like, it doesn't matter. She doesn't even love me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. They didn't really get into too much of why Joshua was who he was. Like, how did he end up that way? Right, because they came from the same home. And yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, people, like, metabolize things differently, right? But they didn't show, like, him constantly fucking up or...
Like, we just,
like there was this great big trauma because...
We went from him being a kid and being traumatized by that, and then all of a sudden, like, we saw him like...
And then by the end, we find out what really happens, and even then, it doesn't make sense as to why Joshua is a fuck-up. And then he was... You know what I didn't like about that character was that it was almost childish. It was almost like a baby. Like a big, doofy baby.
Because then I'm wondering, like, how long was it? When did he start going to prison and like juvie and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
How much time has he actually spent out of a penitentiary in the real world?
Yeah.
Because if most of his growing up was done in prison, that's not a real world.
Right.
That's a completely different kind of world.
Yeah, because his response to things was just like very immature. Like even when they were talking to him about like the whole plan to rob the bank, whatever, and they're like, easy money, we're gonna do this, you're not gonna do this, that
we gotta do this exactly this way in the plan,
right.
No deviation from anything.
He even says don't get greedy, like, and he's like, oh, I might have to do some shopping, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you're gonna fuck up the whole plan. And why would you say that out loud? After he just told you, like you said, do not deviate.
Do this, and then be out of this by a certain time. Like,
and you're being fucking doofy. You know, it's just like, what? And then mom getting him the job, and then
like stealing money out the register.
Right? Like, why are you so dumb?
Putting your mom's, because there's some places that once your register come up short one time, that's it. You're over with. You're done. You're fired. Like,
yeah.
So why would you put your mom's job at risk?
Right. Yeah. And I liked the mom. I
did like the mom. Yeah.
I liked the transition of seeing her with the Afro puffs.
I know. I love a little Afro puff. Oh
yeah.
my God, look at her.
And she did, like, she had the edges, the thing that everyone does now.
Very cute in the 70s.
So it's very that was interesting to see how things come full circle, right? Because you have like probably all these young girls thinking like, oh, I gotta do my edges and all this stuff. Nope, they were doing it back then. Like, look at this movie. Like, she really had the Afro puffs with like, but even later on, Marty, is that her name?
Yeah, she had her.
She had hers too.
Yeah, she had baby hair out.
Her baby hairs.
Yeah.
So they were all gelled down and slicked down and everything. You know, she had a hairdo of the time.
Braids, yeah,
she had the braids.
Yeah, that was typical hair of the time. It really was. Yeah, I remember my mom having that kind of hair before. Yeah.
It's much better than fucking Lyric.
Leaves Lyric female rat tail. Leave up.
Oh my God. I mean, the acting wasn't bad. I don't like Jada Pinkett-Smith. I think she's a horrible actress, personally.
You hate her. My mom hates her too. I don't know why.
I don't think she's a good actress. I never did, and I don't think she's as cute as people think she is. I guess I'm more of a Nia Long, like from that era. Like, I'm like, oh, she's cute. I don't know. Jada Pinkett-Smith never was
very
cute.
Similar, but like Nia Long, I think we've seen more of her acting range. I think maybe.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's probably Jada Pinkett-Smith's typecast is playing the same character over and over again. Like, her character here is the same freaking character she played in Different World, and the same freaking character I think I've seen in other things.
Set It Off. Have you ever seen Set It Off?
It's like like she's just been playing the same character at that time period because they typecast her as like the difficult girl or whatever, you know.
Right. The sassy petite
girl. Yeah, like that's what she always played.
Yeah. So maybe that's why I don't like her. I don't like her. I'm with your moms on that one. No, I'll pass. Yeah, I was surprised. Like, Will, this is who you chose. Whatever. Like, this is who you slapped somebody over. Whatever.
I always thought, like, when I was a kid, I always thought that Will and Nia Long, I thought they were, like, because I'm like, they have such good chemistry.
Yes.
I'm like, yes, get it on.
Yeah. Everybody's passed through that show, huh?
They really did.
I'm, like, thinking about it. So, I don't know. I feel like there isn't that much to say. I feel like we had said enough about the movie. So if you're looking for a movie from the past, a good love movie, better than, maybe you should watch both.
Yeah. Oh yes, everybody watch both and tell us how you feel about both.
Yeah. Watch Poetic Justice first, and then watch Jason's Lyric. And yeah, let us know which one would you prefer. You know, which one is the better love story? And
I feel like a reason why a lot of people like this, like Poetic Justice so much, is probably they just don't know that there's an alternative in Jason's Lyric. I really think that has to be the only reason. That has to be the only reason. Otherwise,
I'm thinking Jason's Lyric, not Jason's Lyric. I'm thinking Poetic Justice got so much fanfare because of the
Janet
actors as Janet and Tupac.
And I guess at the time,
and they were the biggest stars at the time.
At the time, no one really knew much about Jada Pinkett-Smith. She was
Alan Payne.
Or Alan Payne.
Yeah,
I still just know Miss Lance from the Cosby Show.
Lance. You saw your hairy butt crack. Yeah. Yeah, I think the studio probably put more money behind it because, like you said, it's Janet Jackson, it's Tupac. They were the biggest stars during that time. Janet was coming out with her album. That was when Janet was transitioning from Michael Jackson's little sister, kind of wholesome, to now, Janet. She was sexy. That was the Janet album with the hands over the titties. Okay. So yeah, she was changing her whole, image. I'm not soft spoken like my brother.
I am though, but also I'm raunchy.
right, exactly. So yeah, watch Jason's Lyric. Let us know what you think. But I guess at this time, apparently, my boyfriend has something going on for me on Valentine's Day. So, I gotta get out of here, get some lovin's. Apparently,
some lovin's.
Yeah. So, friend, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Yeah, I think I enjoyed this because Poetic Justice sucks, and I'm like, there's something that was better during the time.
I really did enjoy the romance between the characters. I enjoyed the tenderness. I just enjoyed it together and their connection. I really did. I did
too, because it made me feel like there's tenderness in Black love. Like, to me, Poetic Justice was really, it was too hard,
too raw,
too aggressive, and I'm just like, no, everybody wasn't like that during that time, and that isn't love, and it's definitely, to me, not a portrayal of what Black love. Yeah. And just because there's a struggle, doesn't mean that's how things play out between a man and a woman. We
shouldn't be selling for this and thinking it's something great when it's not.
Right. There's still that romance out there, the wooing, and yeah, so thank you, Bobby Smith Jr., for writing this movie.
Yeah, good job, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having a juxtaposed example of what love.
In the early 90s.
Black love. Thank you so much.
Because they both grew up in the same kind of neighborhood, so...
Right.
Yeah, they were, even though it's L.A. and Houston, they both are growing up in the same atmosphere.
Right.
So why couldn't he...
Right, low income.
Exactly,
gang life.
His mom is raising him.
Right, single mom.
So it's like, what's the difference?
Right, right. So, friend, if you're out there, just know that Black love reigns forever. It reigns true. It's pure, like every other love. So, I guess, we are at the end. Don't forget to check out some past podcasts, some podcast episodes. I know some of you guys are probably waiting for Lovecraft Country's Justice Magazine. He has other things to do. He's on jury duty. So that comes first, I guess, before the podcast.
I want to go on jury duty.
I've been asked to go to jury duty 3 times. So I've never showed up.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. I went once and I was off for a week.
Living my best life. Yeah, what did you do?
Nothing. It was a case about some guy shooting and stabbing up this family outside of a bodega. They went clubbing and he tried to cut them in line and they said no. So he went and got his cousin that had a fucking cane and he had a gun. So his cousin had his cane and was beating the people with the cane and he shot them. So it was like...
What?
It was like a mess.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay.
I wonder what Mackeson's doing. I'm sure he'll be able to share after. So check out those past episodes. Also check out, like I said, the Poetic Justice. And if you're looking for like interracial love from another country, check out Namaste Wahala, which is a interracial story about a Nigerian woman and an Indian guy falling in love and how their families are opposed to that. But until then, I don't know what's going to be our next movie. We have to think about that.
Yeah, we haven't. Because what, are we going to do something else for February, or are we just moving on to Women's Month?
I think we're just going to move on to Women's Month.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe we should find some old. Should we move it up a decade? Should we stay in the 90s, or should we go into like the millennium, like 2000s?
I think we should pop into 2000s.
We should pop into
going on
and see what the ladies were doing then.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. Well, we'll figure it out. And you just keep following Fox on Flix with Friends. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We really do appreciate it. And that's a wrap. Love, kisses, and hugs. Yay.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Have a happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Love Month.
That's a wrap.